Welcome back to another episode of Daily Neville. I am your host, Josiah Brandt, and Daily Neville is all about breaking down the teachings of Neville Goddard, making them easy to understand, easy to digest, easy to apply in 20 minutes or less. Today we're continuing with Neville's 1942 book, Freedom for All, a practical application of the Bible. In this episode, we are going to explore Chapter 2, titled The Name of God. And if you're interested in going deeper beyond what is shared here in this episode, you have the opportunity to join my channel at various levels of membership to get deeper insights, deeper videos, and even my mentorship, which is also available by clicking the join button below. Let's go ahead and dive right in. Chapter 2, The Name of God. Neville writes, "It cannot be stated too often that consciousness is the one and only reality. For this is the truth that sets man free. This is the foundation upon which the whole structure of biblical literature rests. The stories of the Bible are all mystical revelations written in an Eastern symbolism which reveals to the intuitive the secret of creation and the formula of escape. The Bible is man's attempt to express in words the cause and manner of creation. Man discovered that his consciousness was the cause or creator of his world. So he proceeded to tell the story of creation in a series of symbolical stories known to us today as the Bible." We're going to go ahead and start right there. Consciousness is the one and only reality, and this is the truth that sets man free. What does this mean? And why is it the truth that sets man free? This is the truth that sets man free because when we understand that consciousness is the only reality, we understand that our awareness of being and the state that our awareness of being is in dictates the reality that we experience. This means that our lives are not consigned to some sort of idea of fate. There is no power outside of consciousness which is dictating what happens to us in our lives. No one external to ourselves, and certainly no external God, has power over us. Rather, we in truth are free, and we can express our freedom when we reclaim our mystical understanding of the truth that sets us free, and that is that consciousness is the one and only reality. Consciousness is the one and only reality. That means that we are living in a world that is consciousness. We are living in a multidimensional universe that is consciousness. Consciousness is the beginning. Consciousness is the end. And while we are living in an illusion of time and space, in truth, time and space are just two aspects or dimensions of what is at its root, source, and cause only consciousness. Consciousness is all there is, and you and I are consciousness, expressing as human beings in time and space, in the here, space, and now, time. Continuing with Neville's words. To understand this greatest of books, you need a little intelligence and much intuition. Intelligence enough to enable you to read the book, and intuition enough to interpret and understand what you read. You may ask why the Bible was written symbolically. Why was it not written in a clear, simple style so that all who read it might understand it? To these questions I reply that all men speak symbolically to that part of the world which differs from their own. The language of the West is clear to us of the West, but it is symbolic to the East and vice versa. An example of this can be found in the Easterner's instruction, "If thine hand offend thee, cut it off." He speaks of the hand, not as the hand of the body, but as any form of expression. And thereby, he warns you to turn from that expression in your world, which is offensive to you. At the same time, the man of the West would unintentionally mislead the man of the East by saying this bank is on the rocks. For the expression on the rocks is, to the Westerner, equivalent to bankruptcy, while A rock to the Easterner is a symbol of faith and security. I will liken him unto a wise man, which built his house upon a rock. And the rain descended, and the floods came, and the winds blew and beat upon that house, and it fell not, for it was founded upon a rock. To really understand the message of the Bible, you must bear in mind that it was written by the Eastern mind, and therefore cannot be taken literally by those of the West. How many of us in the West, over the countless generations we've had access to the Bible, have misunderstood and misinterpreted and taken as literal the instructions of the Bible, which was written in the symbolism of the East? Interesting to consider. Neville continues, biologically, there is no difference between the East and the West. Biologically, there is no difference. Symbolically, there is a difference. And culturally, there is a difference. But biologically, we are all human. There is no difference. Love and hate are the same. Hunger and thirst are the same. Ambition and desire are the same. But the technique of expression is vastly different. The first thing you must discover, if you would unlock the secret of the Bible, is the meaning of the symbolic name of the Creator, which is known to all as Jehovah. This word, Jehovah, is composed of the 4 Hebrew letters Yod, He, Vav, He. The whole secret of creation is concealed within this name. The first letter, Yod, represents the absolute state or consciousness unconditioned. The sense of undefined awareness, that all-inclusiveness out of which all creation or conditioned states of consciousness come. In the terminology of today, Yod is I am, or unconditioned consciousness. Unconditioned consciousness is the state of simply being aware. I am here and now having an experience. My awareness that I am is unconditioned consciousness and is God, Yod, I am. Notice that I have not layered on at this stage any aspects of identity. I'm not telling a story about where I am or who I am or why I am or how I am. I just simply am. And that is unconditioned consciousness, because any story I would tell beyond that becomes conditioning that I place upon my root source consciousness, I am. Continuing with Neville's words, he says, the second letter, He, represents the only begotten Son, a desire, an imaginary state. It symbolizes an idea, a defined subjective state or clarified mental picture. So this is where we start to add the first layer of conditioning upon I am, and it's in this Hebrew name, Jehovah. Yod is I am. He is the only begotten Son, or a desire or an imaginary state, the first level of conditioning. The third letter, Thou, symbolizes the act of unifying or joining the conceiver, which is Yod, the consciousness desiring, to the conception, He, the state which is desired, so that the conceiver and the conception become one. So we have Yod, the conceiver, He, the conception, Vow, the binding of the two together, fixing a mental state, Neville says, consciously defining yourself as the state desired, impressing upon yourself the fact that you are now that which you imagined or conceived as your objective, is the function of vow. Vow nails or joins the consciousness desiring to the thing desired. And this is an aspect of conditioning. We're now conditioning unconditioned awareness to an awareness of a desire. And feeling is the nail, which is vow, which binds the two together. The cementing or joining process, Neville says, is accomplished subjectively by feeling the reality of that which is not yet objectified. So again, feeling is the nail that binds. Okay, feeling is the nail that binds. So you have your desire and you have your unconditioned state of awareness. It's your unconditioned state of awareness desiring to become conditioned into a feeling, and feeling is what binds the two together so that the conceiver and the conception become one. This is subjective. The feeling is subjective, even though objectively it hasn't happened yet. You're feeling it to be true now. And this is a secret encoded in the name that in the Bible is referred to as the name of God. So the name of God, mystically revealed, is Yod He Vav He. And it's unconditioned consciousness becoming aware of a desire, being nailed to that desire through feeling. And then we have that final fourth letter, which Neville says, the fourth letter, He, represents the objectifying of this subjective agreement. Yod He Vav makes man, or the manifested world, He, in the image and likeness of itself. Yod, the consciousness desiring, He, the desire. Vav binds the two together. He, fullness of expression in material reality. That's a recipe. And that's a formula. And that's a formula encoded in the name of God, which is portrayed throughout the Old Testament, throughout the entire Bible, as being Almighty God, Jehovah, Yod He Vav He. And it's a recipe and a formula that the mystics encoded into the name of God. And it's being revealed right here, right now. The Yod He Vav makes man, or the manifested world, He, in the image and likeness of itself, the subjective conscious state. So the function of the final He is to bear witness objectively, meaning in the world around you, objectively, can be viewed by anybody, and it's bearing witness to the subjective state, Yod He Vav. That's unconditioned consciousness, being aware of desire and binding to that desire with feeling. And the final He is objectified fact in the world, reflecting the consciousness of the conceiver. Conditioned consciousness continually objectifies itself on the screen of space. The world is the image and likeness of the subjective conscious state which created it. Remember, consciousness is the one and only reality, meaning that anything that we're observing in the world is a reflection of consciousness, because there's nothing but God in the world. There's nothing but consciousness in the world. The world is the image and likeness, a replica, a mirror of the subjective conscious state which created it. The visible world of itself can do nothing. It only bears record or witness or reflection or a mirror of its creator, which is the state, the subjective state, the one that you're experiencing right now. It is the visible sun. He is the visible sun, bearing witness of the invisible Father, Son, and Mother, Yod He Vav, the Holy Trinity, which can only be seen when made visible as man or manifestation. The manifestation, or even you yourself in physical form, are the seeing of, in material reality, the unseen. And this reveals that biblical passage that says he calls things that are not seen as though they were seen, and they become seen. It's laid bare before us when we begin to understand this mystical secret. We understand exactly why that is the case. We're calling things unseen, which is the desired state, as seen through feeling, and they become seen through the objective manifestation. Your unconditioned consciousness, Yod, is your I am, which visualizes or images a desirable state, He, and then becomes conscious of being the state imagined by feeling and believing itself to be the imagined state. So this, my friend, is you imagining that you are or would like to be a certain kind of person. And then you feel, what would the feeling be like? You become conscious of being that person, by imagining and feeling and believing that you are in the state of being that person. And then, because there is a conscious union between you, the I am consciousness and source awareness and unconditioned awareness that you are, and the desired state, and you're bound or nailed together by feeling, you will outpicture into that final hey, the manifested world that reflects back to you the evidence of that state. The conscious union between you who desire and that which you desire to be is made possible through the vow, which is your capacity to feel and believe. Believing is simply living in the feeling of actually being the state imagined, by assuming the consciousness of being the state desired. The subjective state, symbolized as yod, hey, vow, then objectifies itself as hey, thereby completing the mystery of the Creator's name and nature. Yod, hey, vow, hey, Jehovah. Yod is to be aware. Hey is to be aware of something. Vow is to be aware as, or to be aware of being, that which you were only aware of. So it's saying, I am that, or speaking from, or feeling from, as opposed to thinking of. It's thinking from the state. The second hey, the fourth letter, is your visible objectified world, which is made in the image and likeness of the yod hey vow, or that which you are aware of being. And God said, let us make man in our image, after our likeness. Let us, yod hey vow, make the objective manifestation, that final hey or fourth letter, in our image, in the image of our subjective state, the one that we are feeling to be true. The world is the objectified likeness of the subjective conscious state in which consciousness abides. Believing is living in. Abides. You're living in the feeling, and the feeling that you live in is the one that you experience in the world around you. It's not just the one that you visit. You must live in it. You don't just pop in for a second. You dwell therein. This understanding that consciousness is the one and only reality is the foundation of the Bible. The stories of the Bible are attempts to reveal in symbolic language the secret of creation, as well as to show man the one and only formula of escape from all of his own creations. This is the true meaning of the name Jehovah, the name by which all things are made, and without which there is nothing made that is made. First, you are aware. Then you become aware of something. Then you become aware as that something, as that thing which you were previously only aware of. You become it through feeling that you are it. And then finally, you behold objectively in the world around you evidence of, the reflection of, the seen version of the unseen, that which you are aware of being. Powerful, powerful chapter here from Neville in Freedom for All, a practical application of the Bible. If you would like the extended cut version of this episode, go ahead and join the channel membership. There is an exclusive series of videos just for channel members where we go deeper. Until next time, my friends, imagine wisely, and I will see you all in the next episode titled The Law of Creation. Imagine wisely, my friends.